Thank you so much. So let's just jump right into the market and see how it performed at intraday. As we speak, in Nigeria's NGX is at 103,000 level, dropping from 104 we saw yesterday. Now, at the time I took the numbers, it was 0.75% down, but it's still counting. That's in negative territory. Let's look at South Africa. On the flip side, we see South Africa doing splendid, 0.77% now at 90,000 level. Let's see quickly what EGX in Egypt did at intraday. We see it down, however, 0.35%, still at 31,000. And the NSE in Kenya, we see performing closing Tuesday's session in the red. We hope there is a turnaround for that index. Now let's dig into what's happening at the NGX. What's driving these numbers? Why the sudden drop? We have Oluwatobi Adesoya, equity trader, Zcrest Securities Limited, to give us these answers. Good afternoon, Oluwatobi. It's good to have you on the program.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Oluwatobi, I'm just going to put the question back to you now. Is it reaction to inflation numbers? Why are the numbers going down, plummeting so fast?
So that's the market for you, actually. So I wouldn't say it's reaction to inflation. So I would say it's more of post-dividend markdown that we've seen in the markets today, because we have some heavyweight stickers that got marked down, and the price were adjusted for dividend payment today. The likes of GTCO, the likes of Zenith. So, and we've been seeing sell-off in those stickers. So they are part of what is driving the markets, Porsche index down intraday.
Okay, Lil, you mentioned the dividend markdowns. Interesting, though, to know that Access Holdings has released their earnings report, and we see them, reporting that pre-tax profits of about 867 billion naira, and profit after tax as well as at 642.2 billion naira. That's up 3.7% from what we saw in 2023. Speak to us about these numbers. We have the dividends of some of the, the top companies here. We have GTCO, Zenith, Access Holdings, Fidelity Bank. That's from the Tier 2 banking, but it's doing so well in terms of dividend payouts. Speak to us about the numbers we have for Access Holdings and why we have this fantastic payout for these companies, and why investors are not taking, I think they should be positioning, maybe even if there's a markdown, but rather now would we see a reversal as a result of this fantastic payouts?
Okay, so for Access, they released their results yesterday, and it was a good performance. And we also saw the proposed dividend of 2.01 kobo. So that, like you mentioned, their profits, good numbers. In fact, when the market opened this morning, we even saw bids like triple the number of offers in the market. So which shows investors reacting to that and taking positions ahead of the dividend payment. But also, like you mentioned, the dividend, it is really good. If you look at it, it's about 9 to 10% yield. Because when investing, it's not just about capital acquisition. It's also important to factor in dividend yield. So dividend yield, it's a good one. And like I said this morning, in fact, we even saw Access went as high as about 4% in the morning. So to show you how investors are reacting to that. But on the flip side, like I mentioned earlier, for GTCO, because their price got adjusted to the GTCO and Zenith. So in fact, like this morning, we have been seeing them shedding weight, shedding losses. They have been in the red, and they have been the one dragging the market down. But even though GTCO declared a dividend of about 7 naira, and why Zenith declared 4 naira, fantastic dividend. But it is just important to know that as much as there are different investors in the market with different objectives, so why some have factored in their dividend, the dividend closure is today. So which means even if they sell today, so they'll still get their dividend. So it would be nice for them to sell if they want to. And on the other hand, there will be a lot of investors that will be interested in coming in, because of the lower price due to the adjustment.
Okay, so just still staying on Access Holdings, that we know that there have been a lot of acquisitions. They've been, carrying that on for a while, and that has probably impacted in terms of their cost in the company. We're looking at their dividend payout now, 2 naira 5 kobo for 2024 final, and coming from 1 naira 80 kobo we saw in 2023. And now we know that their ordinary shares, outstanding shares, about 53 billion ordinary shares out there, up from 29 billion. They're paying a lot more now. We see that uptick. How do you see Access Holdings sustaining this, especially with all the acquisitions that have taken place? Do you see this as just mouth-watering or trying to hold investors down, or do you see it as a sustainable thing? We're going to be seeing good numbers from Access Holdings going forward.
So for Access Core, like you mentioned, we've been seeing a lot of mergers, a lot of acquisitions from the company. However, they've gotten to a point where they want to start giving values to investors. So we might not be seeing a lot of acquisition going forward, but rather we'll be seeing how they would transform those acquisitions, those assets into revenue and, of course, the bottom line. So going forward, I think they would be more focused on rewarding investors and maximizing shareholder value.
Okay, so let's look at how the market is probably going to end today. Speak to us about your outlook. Do we see markets ending in the green? And what do we see? This is a holiday shortened week, but next week, how do we see markets performing as well?
So today, for me, the market would most likely end in the red zone because we've seen some heavyweight banking tickers going down. And whether market will close up or down, it depends on some heavyweight tickers. Like we have GTCO in the red, Zenith in the red. And if there are any bellwether ticker to come to rescue the market, so the market will definitely close in the red. Looking at yesterday's performance, it's kind of the market closed down by 30 basis points, while on Monday the market closed down 30 basis points. Yesterday it closed up 30 basis points. So we are at about 0% week-to-date gains. So today and tomorrow is what will determine what we have for this week. And for today, I'm expecting the market to close down, and tomorrow as well, I'm expecting the market to close down based on the trend we have been seeing for today, except if we see any major happenings in the markets, especially with demands from some heavyweight stickers.
Oluwatobi, please give the market some hope. We're just, negative projections there. But we thank you so much, Oluwatobi Adesanya, equity trader, Declines Securities Limited, for joining us on Business Incorporated.
Thank you so much for having me.